Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate this opportunity to go into greater detail, in a sense, about the whole 2012 story. I mean, it's necessary to do kind of a broad outline of the entire 2012 story, and I'll be following the outline that I pursued in writing this book, which came out a year and a half ago. But I'll pause at certain moments in this sort of, great epic story of 2012 to focus on a couple of areas. One of those areas is, as Hugh said, the Tortuguero Monument. And another area would be what the modern Maya themselves today are thinking about 2012, what they're up to, what they preserve. And, it's necessary to, I've kind of felt that, I've been pursuing this for like 25 years. And here's some of my previous books. This was the hardback copy of the 2012 story. This is the paperback. And, I feel like I'm at this point of sort of recapitulation, looking back over the last 25 years. And I feel like I have a certain amount of insight into the various elements of the 2012 story. I've been in the trenches with the professional Maya scholars trying to advance this reconstruction of what the ancient Maya actually believed about 2012. And that's been a fairly disappointing pursuit, I guess I would say. Although recently there's been some advances, and there's some progressive Maya scholars that are contributing great things to understanding the ancient Maya world, especially ancient Maya astronomy. And archaeoastronomy and ancient astronomy, which is so close to Megalithomania, is really close to what 2012 is really about. And we have a kind of an advantage, I think, in the effort to reconstruct ancient Maya beliefs. It's a little bit different than what, when we look at the old monuments here, some of which are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,000 years old. We don't have any druids we can go to. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there are modern druids that are sort of like tuning into the field, in a sense, to revive the ancient druidic practices. But in Mexico, you have living Maya who still count the days according to the 260-day calendar. In many ways, we can consult and question them and look at what they're doing and understand their traditions of cycle endings and ceremonies and what those are about for them. So when you visit the places in Mexico and Central America, you kind of have an advantage because you can go hang out with the Maya and learn from them. And I think there's something very profound about that, not just in terms of sort of tapping into data or asking the right questions and getting information out of them or something like that, but it has more to do with befriending them and spending time with them and working with them and living with them. And in so doing, one comes to one's own consciousness, in a sense, kind of synchronizes with the Maya mind field, you might say. And I do believe that the Maya mind field is kind of something that is larger. It might be called like a multidimensional mind space. It's a kind of approach to reality that is integrative and embraces and allows for inclusion into model making and experience all the different domains of reality. This is something we've lost in the modern world. Science and the paradigms that are peddled to us as we go through indoctrination in our schooling systems. These are very small-minded little boxes, that I guess maybe served the Industrial Revolution or something like that. But I certainly don't want to propagate these or feed these kinds of paradigms because they don't really allow us to be fully activated human beings. They don't help us be more fulfilled as human beings. There's a great saying that I like. It's, we are multidimensional beings who have settled for a lot less. And I think that, in my experience anyway, when I started hanging out and going down to Mexico and Central America, I I wasn't on some trajectory to reconstruct the long count calendar, 2012, all this stuff. I just wanted to hang out with the Maya and live with them, and my first trips were involved in just doing service work. You know, like in 1990, I helped rebuild a school in San Pedro. And then I was also involved in sort of the political struggles that you can't ignore if you're traveling around there, the death squads and the atrocious treatment of the Maya that's been going on for 500 years. And so I was kind of politically activated and motivated, and I was delivering relief supplies and in 1994 and so on. But I did get drawn into pursuing and exploring the more esoteric areas of ancient Maya thought. And I'm kind of inquisitive by nature. And I was drawn into these sort of gray areas. You know, I would read the academic literature, and 2012 presented it to myself very early as a great enigma. And so I wanted to really understand more deeply what this enigma was about. And that really became the sort of the driving force of my investigation, and it did lead to what I believe to be real findings, you know, real discoveries, insights into what the ancient Maya themselves thought about this incredible date. So what is 2012? Well, it can be stated very simply that 2012 is a true artifact of the ancient Maya calendar system. It sounds sort of common sense or obvious, but actually that one statement meets with a lot of adversity, not only by the professional Maya scholars who have denied that for many, many years, until recently, probably because 2012 is looming around the corner and they see a chance to write some books and make some money or something like that. But also in the media. The media is complicit in framing 2012 in such a way that it belittles it. It belittles the Maya people. I mean, there's a huge, huge stereotype in the media around the ancient Maya. You know, and it's reinforced and propagated virtually anywhere you go, from the Mel Gibson Apocalypto movie to the more recent Catastrophe movie by Roland Emmerich. And anywhere you go, you know, it's like this catastrophe idea is reinforced. So to be stating the simple fact that the ancient Maya were brilliant mathematicians and astronomers, they were brilliant people, they were worthy of being recognized as having an advanced civilization in every sense of the word, from art, science, and spiritual teachings, which are very profound as well. You know, we can recognize that 2012 is something to be treated seriously. And along these lines, as things advanced and the 2012 discussions started heating up and more people got involved, and I realized that there was a term that could encapsulate an approach to 2012, which I called 2012ology. And this kind of grew out of my friendship with Jeff Stray, who's a Glastonbury native and here in the room somewhere. I can't see anything because there are like two alien lights, like, you know, I'm on the dissection table here or something. I don't know what's going on out there, but no, I met Jeff Stray 10.5 years ago here in the assembly rooms, and I have a vivid memory of that. And I was so happy and amazed to meet somebody who was investigating 2012 in a serious way. And one of the things that we shared, I think, was attention to critiquing and reviewing all the various books and things that were coming out on 2012. At the time, there really wasn't that much. Jeff has been particularly adept at scanning all of the various manifestations and writing critiques and reviews, and showing how there's a lot of crazy stuff going on out there with the 2012 discussion, you know, from doomsday devices that don't really make sense, they're internally inconsistent, and the books that are written on this just don't really ascribe to any kind of like Mayan ideas or anything.